Good evening and welcome to the Monday, April 11th meeting of the, it's not April 11th, it's May 9th. Look at that. See, I put my notes here and I told Gary, I wrote everything down. Look at that. It's May 9th. Meeting of the Tuckahoe Village Board of Trustees. So if everyone would please stand, we're going to do the pledge to the flag. I pledge allegiance
To the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
And will our village clerk please call the roll?
Trustee Giordano.
Present.
Trustee Luisi.
Present.
Trustee Leo.
Present.
Trustee Alfasi.
Present.
Mayor Eklund.
I am here tonight. I have a couple of appointments to make tonight. The first is the chairperson for the Zoning Board of Appeals, which is going to be Tom Ringwald. This is a position for 1 year. Do I have a motion for that?
So moved.
Second?
Second.
I just want to thank Mr. Gallo. He's been our chairperson of this board for a while. He has some increased responsibilities for his business, and Member Ringwald is going to be an excellent new chairperson of this board over the next year. So I want to thank him too.
Trustee Giordano.
In favor.
Trustee Luisi.
In favor.
Trustee Leo.
In favor.
Trustee Alfasi.
In favor.
Mayor Eklund.
In favor. The next item is the appointment of the Zoning Board of Appeals member, Ron Gallo. This is going to be for a term of 5 years. Do I have a motion for that?
So moved.
Second?
Second.
Trustee Giordano.
In favor.
Trustee Luisi.
In favor.
Trustee Leo.
In favor.
Trustee Alfasi.
In favor.
Mayor Eklund.
In favor. And our first big order of business tonight is a special presentation. And tonight, we have a special presentation by the Tuckahoe Beautification Association, not committee, right? And I'm going to ask Susan Chamara if she'd come on up to the microphone and tell us a little bit about the association. And maybe why is there a new name?
Thank you so much. First, I would like to thank the village board for adding a line item to the budget to help beautification out, as well as to thank you for your own personal donations that we have received. As probably many of you know, over the last month we are trying to a fundraising effort, and what we did was we had a professional flyer done with the various projects that we have done over the years, and with a letter and a self-addressed envelope. We had something done more professionally that we had not done over the years. So the contributions coming in are very nice, and some of the comments that we're getting from the residents as well as the business are very positive, and they all say keep the village looking beautiful. We have done very well with donations. However, to meet our goal, we still have a long way to go. Our goal is to raise approximately $14,000 a year to keep the project going. At the present time, we have raised, we say, $9,000. However, we have spent $2,000 to put the flyer together, the printing, and so on. So that was a postage. Although we hand-delivered 2,000 packets to each homeowner. The committee, we all took turns, and we did it by districts, and we hand-delivered those packets. We also mailed 224 to landlords and businesses, and we've received nice responses from them. But as I said, our goal, we need $14,000 a year to keep the project going. So we are appealing to the residents and the business to help us out, because without their help, we really will have to cut down as to where we plant flowers and where the hanging baskets go. These baskets are approximately $100 each. Hard to believe when you look at them, but that's what they cost, in addition to buying all the flowers. So we are appealing to everyone to please help us out. We want to keep the village looking good. We're doing this for the residents. We want people to be happy living here and raise their children here, and also for the businesses. We want people to come into the village, and we are getting real positive responses. So we want to keep it going. So we hope that, we will get more donations and we can meet our goal.
Well, we were happy to actually put a line in the budget. I think it was definitely time to do that, and hopefully that'll increase marginally each budget year. Can you tell us a little bit about the association, the actual committee? Are you looking for more volunteers, or is there a lot of people in it? I think a lot of people maybe don't understand, like, how could they be a member of your committee?
Well, we have a core committee of about 10 people. And anyone could become a member of the committee. We don't have a lot going on that we do have meetings maybe 6 times a year.
Okay.
And anyone is welcome to come to the meeting. And we could start advertising the meetings. We do take turns in having in our own homes. But if we find that people do want to come and express their opinion and want to help us out, we could certainly change the location. Maybe have it at the community center. It's not a problem for us. But we like to meet. We find that meeting in the afternoon around 3 o'clock works best for everyone. So if there's individuals that, would like to come to those meetings, sure, we will publicize it. And we'd love to have people come. We want ideas. We want to have some more ideas from individuals that could tell us maybe there's a different way of doing fundraising to, meet our goal.
Well, that's exactly what I was thinking. I mean, we have
Yes.
some new residents who are moving into our community, so there may be somebody who says, hey, you know what, I think I'd like to be on that committee, and maybe, to your point, that they may have some expertise in fundraising and
Absolutely.
might make some significant changes there, so.
So, thank you.
Okay, absolutely. Thank you, Susan.
Thank you.
It's good having you back in Village Hall. We do not have any public hearings tonight. That's going to bring me to the adoption of minutes. The approval of the minutes of the special budget adoption meeting of April 25th, 2016. Do I have a motion for that?
So moved.
Second?
Second.
Trustee
In
Giordano.
favor.
Trustee Luisi.
In favor?
Trustee Leo.
In favor.
Trustee Alfasi.
In favor.
Mayor Eklund.
In favor. Do we have any written correspondences? We do not, okay. That's going to bring us to our first opportunity to come to the mic and address the board on anything that's on our agenda tonight. Yes, sir. Mr. Anthony Laurie is here tonight. I see he has his post commander hat on, I
Good
believe
evening,
that is.
gentlemen.
Thank
It's
you.
a Senior Vice Commander, Lieutenant Colonel Sam Dorenzo Post. I'm also a member of the American Legion Post. I'm here to address the monument on the end of Dainty Avenue, the Medal of Honor monument. It's been redone. I have no problem with it being redone, the way it looks beautiful now. My question is, the individual that's honoring, Sergeant Murray, I just wonder why we cannot fly the flag for him, the Medal of Honor flag, underneath the American flag. I mean, the man gave his life for this country, besides saving 12 men of his squadron. How much more could you ask for? And we're just asking, as a veteran, and I'm talking as a citizen of this great village, why that flag can't fly for him. I know he's buried up in the cemetery off of the Parkway in Valhalla, and that flag flies every day. And so I don't see no problem with that flag flying.
I'm going to answer your question.
Okay.
And I'm glad you brought it up, because Vito Pinto actually reached out to me, as well as Trustee Alfasi, too. The first point is we wanted to do some research to find out, are we allowed to fly that flag every day? We did fly it on the Medal of Honor Day. We didn't know if we could do it beyond that. But it also kind of made us take a look at the whole, in talking to Vito, we're wanted to take a look at the whole issue of that space, where he's recognized. Mrs. Chamara's husband, who passed away, was also recognized by the flagpole that was originally put there. And oddly enough, one of the first things we've come up with is we said, look, we have to start in the beginning, so let's start with the survey. Let's look at the survey of the property. Well, the survey we have shows that we don't even own the property, that the person next door owns the property. So that kind of put the brakes on everything, and we only discovered that just on Friday. We need to find out if there is an updated, the survey that we have possession of is dated in the 20s. So we're going to, the woman who lives next door, just by coincidence, happened to be in the building department. She went over and had a conversation with our village administrator, and, he had the conversation with her, and he said, look, we're looking at that piece of property, and the survey that she had in her folder, property folder, shows that that land, that little bump out, isn't owned by the village, it's owned by the property next door. So she said that she has a survey that's dated within the last 10 years. So she's going to dig that out, bring it down. We want to take a look at that. So the first thing we want to do is we want to analyze and make sure that the village owns the land. That's first and foremost. And then after that, I know that Trustee Alfasi's got some thoughts on this, and I'm going to turn it over to him, but I know he's been talking to
But
Vito
you're,
Pinto.
you're saying that the property don't belong to us. If it
We
doesn't,
don't know that yet, but
but if it doesn't, I hope that monument has to be removed then?
we're not going that far yet. We don't even know, maybe the village buys it, maybe the veterans buys the property. We have to do a lot more research on that point. So we're taking it one step at a time.
In the meantime, the flag can't fly, is what
No,
you're saying?
Well, that was, okay, so now I'm going to turn it over to Trustee Alfasi because he did a tremendous amount of research. I didn't realize that there was a data bank that you can actually look at for all these different items. So I'm going to turn it over to Trustee Alfasi. Thank you for doing that research, by the way.
My pleasure, my pleasure. One, I'm not sure, Mr. Laurie, and forgive me, but I don't know who told the veterans that it couldn't be flown. Did anyone say that?
No, we're asking why it hasn't been flown.
Okay, that's different from it can't be flown. 'cause
I
that's
didn't
what-
say it can't be flown. I just
Okay.
wanted to know why we haven't flown it.
Okay, so one, we don't know if we own it. But two, I did do some research on it, and some of the things that, I discussed with Vito Pinto has been a tremendous advocate. He's always been an advocate, as you know, and yourself as well, and all of the veterans, to make sure that our veterans, all of our veterans, memorials are properly displayed with respect and honor. And according to the research I've done, I've called up the protocol office at the Department of Defense. I called up the protocol office at West Point. I called up the protocol office at the National VFW. And all three concur that there's no particular way that monuments are supposed to be displayed. There's no regulations. There's no, according to them, there's nothing that I could find. I tried looking on the internet. There's no regulations, but obviously a monument has to be with honor and distinction and should be displayed properly to suit basically the community's needs. Certainly when it comes to flying flags, especially the United States flag, our flag, there certainly are guidelines on that and proper ways to display the flag, as you know.
Right.
As far as flying the Medal of Honor flag, a Medal of Honor flag, to the best of my knowledge and my research, can be flown 365 days a year, like any other flag, like a POW flag. So there's no restrictions that we could not fly it if it's the village property. If it's not the village property, then it would be up to the property owner.
Okay, but until we find that out, could we fly the flag?
Well, don't you think it's prudence, why don't we reserve that? If I don't know that the village owns it right now,
And we don't know if the homeowner owns it.
right, so
not
why,
gonna take that long to figure that out.
so why don't we wait? I mean, I don't think there's any harm in waiting to find that out. Once we find that out for sure, then we can make a
So
decision.
in other words, we could have been flying that flag until we found this out.
The flag was never brought to our.
Yeah, but we flew it on Medal of Honor Day.
Right, exactly. And actually, didn't you say that they mentioned, and we're sure that the flag that we have is the true Medal of Honor
Yeah,
flag?
it's the blue one with the stars on it.
Right, okay, all right, okay. Anyway, we're gonna, the first thing we want to do, we want to kind of freeze everything to make sure that we own that land. We don't want to be trespassing on anybody's property. We want to make sure that the village owns that property. Once we've made that determination, it shouldn't take too long, then we're going to, can we go ahead and run the flag up that flag
Right.
below the American flag? I see no reason why not. I see,
Okay.
as far as I'm concerned, I certainly don't have an issue with that.
Okay, that's fine. Because like I says, the bravery that man done, no one else could do.
That goes without saying.
Yeah.
As a matter of fact, who's the person who actually spearheaded getting that street dedicated there?
Mr. Donnie Pinto.
That's right, yes.
And I was with
And I
him.
made sure that happened.
I was with him when we went to see Mayor, what was it? I can't even remember his name. The gentleman before you.
Oh, Mayor Fitzpatrick.
Fitzpatrick. We went to his office. We spent many hours in there. And may he rest his soul, he worked hard to get that done. Okay, thank you.
Thank you. You want to talk about the parade at all? I thought that's where you were coming up originally, so.
I'm sure you're aware of what's going on. If the public doesn't know, it's May 30th, the original Memorial Day. Having a little ceremony at 8:30 at the monument on 22. And after the ceremony, they're going to march down towards the library in Eastchester, where they'll pick up the rest of the parade, and heading down to Tuckahoe. And we're not stopping at the World War I monument. It's going to go right down to the Pope Foundation, have a little ceremony there, and then from there, after the parade breaks up, we're going to do a ceremony at the Vietnam Monument and Sergeant Murray Monument. And hopefully that'll be a good day. I don't know if we could order good weather, but we're hoping that the good Lord gives us good weather like we did last year.
Well, we normally do. We always make sure that the trolley's available for
Right.
the veterans too, so. And I enjoy that a lot, actually, so, thank you. Thank you.
Okay, and I hope, while I'm here, I could also tell you, hopefully we continue our parades, because there's scuttlebutt that a lot of parades are getting tossed by the wayside. So hopefully our parades will continue. Maybe people from other communities that lost their parades could come and watch our parade. And hopefully we could have as many people as we did on St. Patrick's Day.
I know that I went to one or two of the parade meetings, and they talked about, just in case people don't realize it, that they're going to alternate they started this, I guess.
Yes,
a year
last
ago.
year was in Eastchester.
Right, so it ended up in Eastchester at Monument Park. This year it comes down and ends in Depot Square, so
And like I say, I hope it continues. I hope you gentlemen are all behind that.
we're certainly behind the veterans.
Okay, thank you.
That's for sure. Thank you.
Mr. Laurie, I just want to emphasize for the residents that the parade alternates every year.
Right.
I know the mayor just mentioned that.
Right.
Because it did come up in conversation that I had with one of the residents. They were under the impression that we were not having the parade this year. So,
As long as we could walk on this earth, let's hope we always have a Memorial Day parade.
absolutely.
Okay? Thank you, gentlemen.
Thank you.
Thank you. Anybody else? Yes, sir.
Hi, Peter Vishy. I live at 28 Maynard Street. I came home on April 13th, and the Tower Club were putting up Verizon cell towers. I was wondering if there was, any notification on that the residents should have been notified. I don't know what kind of impact on life that is, if it's harm to me or anything like that. It's a big steel structure. It's a small house. Were there building permits issued for that?
We're going to throw that right to our,
They-
Gary Gertson is our village
It was a
attorney.
special permit that they received from the zoning board. The law is kind of strange on this one, though. It's not much discretion. They have to issue the special permit, but there's not much discretion in them issuing a special permit because there's other cell towers up there. So the law basically says they don't have much discretion in those. But it was before the zoning board for a few meetings, probably quite a long time, I think, probably about 6 months. Anyone within, I think it was 100 feet or whatever, would have been notified by mail. And it was,
Well, I live on the corner of 28 and Maynard and Pleasant. I mean, right
Yeah, I
across
know
the
where you
street.
are.
I'm
So you're
probably
very
over the
close.
100 feet.
yeah. But
And-
it would have been on the website and all that other.
Okay, and another thing, the crane, was speaking to a couple of workers that were erecting it. The crane was in the middle of the street, blocking the street for the day, and I understand it. No notification on that, no parking signs were posted. I mean, I don't understand why there were no parking signs. I mean, if there was an emergency, that, God forbid, my house was on fire and it was in the back of the house, the fire department couldn't get there.
Was it on Pleasant?
It was on
crane?
Pleasant.
On Pleasant, okay.
And I spoke to a couple of the, workers, and they said that they were gonna pull in the driveway on the Tower Club's property and erect it from there, but their management company didn't want it on their property.
They would have had to have pulled a crane permit, I'm sure, right?
Yeah, they would have done that through
Right.
Mr. Williams, so I can't answer the question of.
Yeah, that's
And
interesting.
no,
How they were
no
putting it up there.
parking, I mean, you guys paved and you put up no parking signs all over the place. They come and they erect something, and there's no parking sign.
Were they there for a day?
Yeah.
It wasn't overnight, was it?
No, it was
just
for the,
a
it
day?
was for the day. They erected it the whole day. And it's a big steel structure. I mean, couldn't they put it back 20 feet so I don't have to look at it? I mean, if you want to see pictures, I took pictures of it.
Oh, the actual cell tower, you mean?
Yes,
Yeah, okay.
it's a building on top of the building.
Well, again, they received, the special permit. Also, I believe they went to the planning board for a site plan. So we'll have Mr. Williams, once it's up, Mr. Williams will look at it to make sure it's what they proposed. It's in conformity with their drawings, so he'll check that.
Okay. Can you notify me? Can I leave a phone number or?
Yes, you can leave it with the clerk, and she'll make sure that the building department gives you a call after they do. What they'll do is they'll do a final inspection to make sure that what is there is what they had proposed will be there. And then they'll, Mary Ann at the building department will give you a call.
Okay, and can I address Frank for?
You also have the opportunity to go to the building department and look at the actual plans. and
Yeah.
You can see exactly what's been proposed. So, I mean, you can see if they're following the plans based on what you see actually being erected.
Okay. All right, thank you. And
You're
when,
welcome.
when does the building department open?
Is it
Monday through Friday, they open at 8:30 in the morning.
Okay.
Mhm.
All right. And I noticed, driving around in the village, that people put their stuff out on the wrong days, and they sit there. I mean, are we doing anything about it?
Yeah, we are. We are stickering people, warning people, we're ringing doorbells. We're really doing the best we can. We have a lot of people that don't really own in the community, they rent, so trying to find the families, especially in your area, there's a designated area across the street from your home that everybody just seems to throw garbage out, so it's hard to tell who's doing it, So we do pick it up, and we're really trying to figure out who is doing it. I mean, I'm asking the residents, and we've been ringing the doorbells of the neighbors, asking to tell us who's doing it, because we would find them. But yeah, if you could help me, I'd be glad to help
And
you.
I've gone down to you numerous times.
To me
and
personally,
Well,
no.
no, I spoke to Jimmy because you weren't in at the time, and I told him it was the Tower Club, and he said, no, it isn't.
No, it's your
and-
neighbors, it's not the Tower Club. But again, we could
Okay.
talk about this.
They do have a video camera pointing out to the street.
Mhm.
Maybe you would want to check that the next time something happens,
I could do that,
Good.
okay?
okay? And I'll keep an eye on it.
Sure, I mean, any help you
Because
could
at
give me.
6 o'clock at night, usually 6 o'clock at night, the super puts stuff out there.
Because they have a designated pickup site for us. I mean, they have a room, they have a garbage retaining room, compactor facilities, they have several containers in their complex that we deal with. So
Right.
I don't know of anybody putting anything else from the Tower Club out on Maynard. But again, I'll work with
No,
you
it's
on
on
it.
Pleasant Place.
On Pleasant Place.
Okay,
Yeah, whatever information you could give me, it'll just help me.
all right.
All right, I mean, I could also meet with the Tower Club and find out if they could give me some videos and find out where it's coming from.
Great.
Okay?
I noticed today they put their stuff down on Circuit,
Mhm.
which was probably easier, but I think the townhouses in the back put their stuff in the garbage shed, and then on the days that it's supposed to go out, they put it to the curb.
You guys got to come closer to the
Oh,
mic.
yeah, I guess.
They
You
can't
missed
hear
a
you.
lot of that.
They
Sorry
can't.
about that.
That's all right.
On the, at the Tower Club, there's the
Mhm.
townhouses.
Mm-hmm.
They have a garbage shed in the back. They must put, the townhouses must put their stuff, old TVs and stuff like that in the garbage shed. And then the super pulls it to the curb on days that he thinks they're gonna pick it up. And then he puts it out on a Thursday, he say rubbish for Tuesday, a couch or something like that for Tuesday, he puts it out on a Thursday, they don't pick it up, then it goes the whole weekend. And I gotta look at it. The last time it was a stove. Now, I don't know if it was the super, if it was one of their contractors, it was a stove on a holiday week. Now, they don't pick up metal on a holiday week. I mean, you did take care of it, Jimmy did take care of it, and I thank you.
Yeah,
But
you
I
know,
mean,
what people have to understand is, we're not a dumping facility. We don't store garbage. We don't have the site like Eastchester does to store garbage. But we ride around every Friday, and, you know, I'm going to tell residents that I want Tuckahoe for the weekend to be as spotless as it could be. So if you see anybody putting anything out, please let us know. I mean, we go to the extent of even taking things that we shouldn't be taking on a weekend just to make sure the Tuckahoe is clean. And free of any debris that might be left out. For a couch, I mean, to drive through a village and see a couch out for a weekend, it's just mind-boggling to me. I mean, I don't know why someone would want to do that, but we try to prevent that as much as we can. And, you know, I ask for everyone's help. We could only do so much. But me and Jimmy do drive around on a Friday to make sure that everything is really taken in. Yeah, any help I could get, I'll be glad to work with you. Okay? Thank you.
Well, thank you. Thank you very much for coming to the meeting tonight. Appreciate it.
Thank you.
That is going to bring us to our resolutions, and the first resolution of the evening is Resolution Number 1, granting a special permit to Two Beer Guys LLC, doing business as Growlers Beer Bistro, 25 Main Street, as well as authorizing the use of a portion of the Lake Avenue parking lot for the annual Oktoberfest with a date of Saturday, October 1st, 2016. The rain date is going to be Sunday, October 2nd. Do I have a motion?
So moved.
Second?
Second.
Trustee Giordano.
In favor.
Trustee Luisi.
In favor?
Trustee Leo.
In favor.
Trustee Alfasi.
In favor.
Mayor Eklund.
In favor. Resolution number 2 is authorizing the Westchester Italian Cultural Center the closure of Depot Square on Sunday, June 12th, 2016, from 7 in the morning to 6 at night for a car show in the square in front of the General Pope Building, and permission to close traffic from and to Main Street and the square in front of the building, including the lower parking lot on Oak Avenue. Do I have a motion?
So moved.
Second?
Second.
Originally, they were talking about having this on a Saturday, and we knew that that would definitely be unfair to all the businesses there. So we spoke to them, and they were able to arrange for Sunday, and they've done this in the past. It's a great, great event. So I'm happy that they could make it on a Sunday, and let's hope they have good weather.
Trustee Giordano.
In favor.
Trustee Luisi.
In favor?
Trustee Leo.
In favor.
Trustee Alfasi.
In favor.
Mayor Eklund.
In favor. Resolution number 3 is authorizing a $3,000 village contribution to the Westchester Italian Cultural Center to help fund a series of 4 outdoor film screenings in Depot Square in July. Do I have a motion?
So moved.
Second?
Second.
Trustee Giordano.
In favor.
Trustee Luisi.
In favor?
Trustee Leo.
In favor.
Trustee Alfasi.
In favor.
Mayor Eklund.
In favor. Resolution number 4 is authorizing the Gifford Street Annual Block Party on June 11th from 2 p.m. to midnight. Rain date is June 18th. Do I have a motion?
So moved.
Second?
Second.
And you'll be cooking hot dogs? Is that what I hear? out
Yes,
there?
yes. And steaks.
Trustee Giordano.
In favor.
Trustee Luisi.
Am I invited to this party?
Of
Oh,
course.
sure.
In favor?
Trustee Leo.
In favor.
Trustee Alfasi.
In favor.
Mayor Eklund.
In favor. Resolution number 5 is approving the donation. We're receiving $500 from the Tuckahoe Eastchester Chamber of Commerce for using our trolley. Do I have a motion?
So moved.
Second?
Second?
Trustee Giordano.
In favor.
Trustee Luisi.
In favor?
Trustee Leo.
In favor.
Trustee Alfasi.
In favor.
Mayor Eklund.
In favor. Okay, resolution number 6, the big one of the night, is approving a tax certiorari settlement for the consulate on the park for assessment years 2008 through 2015. Street address is 1-4 Consulate Drive, Section 37, Block 3, Lots 3.001 through 1A through 3004-4N in the amount of $427,819.91. Do I have a motion?
So moved.
Second.
Second.
And I paused a little bit for some dramatic effect on that because this is an enormous tax certiorari settlement. I just want the public to know that we spent an awful lot of time in wrestling with this settlement. We went back and forth with we use a law firm that actually fights these tax certiorari claims against the village. And we went back and forth quite a bit. We did all we could to make sure that it is as small a number, as ridiculous as that sounds, as small a number as it is. So after a lot of consultation, we are guided by our council to go ahead and accept this as a payment on it. So, yeah, it's a difficult number to swallow. But, yeah, anybody else?
If I may, Mr. Mayor, I'd like just Gary, I know this is a little off the cuff, but I know you're prepared to talk a little bit about it, just so that the residents understand. This is basically paying back the consulate for the money that they've been paying us throughout the years, where the assessment, at least they argued, that the assessment on their property was too high.
Right,
So we had the use of this money, the village did, for many, many years. They don't, do they get interest on it back?
I don't believe so.
I don't believe so, right? So it's hard to swallow that huge number, but if you would.
Oh,
Anything more?
just like you said, no, it's, they said that they're overcharged for these years, the 2008 through 2015. They bring in their proof, and village fights them with our proof and come to a settlement, and that's what happened here.
And unfortunately, throughout the years, this isn't the only one we've had. So not talking about the consulate, but throughout the village of Tuckahoe. And unfortunately, municipalities throughout the state are facing this. It's the way it is. The assessments come and go with the market. Market goes up, we do better. Market goes down, the assessment's got to happen, and this is what happens.
Yeah, it was a tough one. It was a big number. We actually borrowed the money for this in the last bond that we had, so we are prepared to pay it. It actually gets, I think, within 60 days, it gets signed off on by a judge, I think, recall, and then after that, we write the check. So we negotiated it as hard as we could, and I guess the way I always look at it is, as bitter a pill as it is for us to swallow, I can't imagine what a bitter pill it is for the school district to actually swallow. So, but with that, roll call.
Trustee Giordano.
In favor?
Trustee Luise.
In favor.
Trustee Leo.
In favor.
Trustee Alfasi.
In favor.
Mayor Eklund.
In favor. Resolution number 7 is authorizing a police mutual aid agreement with the town of Eastchester and the village of Pelham for interagency law enforcement services. Do I have a motion?
So moved.
Second?
Second?
Trustee Giordano.
In favor?
Trustee Luise.
In favor.
Trustee Leo.
In favor.
Trustee Alfasi.
In favor.
Mayor Eklund.
In favor. Resolution number 8, authorizing the mayor to sign a consulting agreement with CPI-HR effective March 1, 2016 through February 28, 2017. Do I have a motion?
So moved.
Second?
Second.
Trustee Giordano.
In favor?
Trustee Luise.
In favor.
Trustee Leo.
In favor.
Trustee Alfasi.
In favor.
Mayor Eklund.
In favor. Resolution number 9 is authorizing the following procedure for late payment of vehicle and traffic fines. The procedure is detailed in our agenda, and it is related to parking ticket fines. Do I have a motion?
So moved.
Second?
Second?
Trustee Giordano.
In favor?
Trustee Luise.
In favor.
Trustee Leo.
In favor.
Trustee Alfasi.
In favor.
Mayor Eklund.
In favor. Resolution number 10 is authorizing the receiver of taxes to collect taxes for fiscal year June 1, 2016 through May 31, 2017 in 2 installments. The first installment is on June 1, 2016. For a non-payment of first installment, a 5% penalty shall be imposed for the month of July and a 1% penalty each month thereafter to date of redemption. And the second installment is due on December 1, 2016. For non-payment of the second half installment, a 5% penalty shall be imposed for the month of January and a 1% penalty for each month thereafter to date of redemption, and further authorizing the mayor to sign the tax collector's warrant that follows. Do I have a motion?
So moved.
Second?
Second?
Trustee Giordano.
Favor?
Trustee Luise.
Favor.
Trustee Leo.
In favor.
Trustee Alfasi.
In favor.
Mayor Eklund.
In favor. Resolution number 11 is authorizing the approval of vouchers in the amount of $332,749.25. Do I have a motion?
So moved.
Second?
Second?
Trustee Giordano.
In favor.
Trustee Luisi.
In favor?
Trustee Leo.
In favor.
Trustee Alfasi.
In favor.
Mayor Eklund.
In favor. And we have one late addition, which is Resolution Number 12, authorizing the mayor to sign the 2015-2016 Stormwater Report. Do I have a motion for that?
So moved.
Second?
Second.
Trustee Giordano.
In favor.
Trustee Luisi.
In favor?
Trustee Leo.
In favor.
Trustee Alfasi.
In favor.
Mayor Eklund.
In favor. Under discussion items tonight, actually, I was going to bring up and talk about the Medal of Honor flag. So we took care of that earlier. So does anybody else have anything they'd like to discuss tonight? If not, we're going to move on to our departmental reports to the board. And we always start with our chief of police, John Costanzo.
Good evening, Mayor, members of the board. Just a couple of announcements. Excuse me. This week is Police Week across the country. Municipalities are honoring police departments and fallen officers. We are having our memorial service this Saturday morning, May 14th at 9 a.m. and right at the memorial in front of Village Hall. Police Officer Clement Martone, who served the village 1958 to 1978, passed away this past year, so we'll be honoring him with his family present, as well as all the deceased members of the department. Later that day, this Saturday, the 14th, at 11 a.m. to 1 p.m. is the police open house. We have displayed all of our special units and have our headquarters open to the public. This year, we've reached out to a lot of different civic groups and hope that we have a good attendance. It's a great day. Everyone from the public is invited, and that's at 11 a.m. to 1 p.m. this Saturday. And then Monday, May 16th at 7 p.m. is our annual police award ceremony, where we honor all of the police officers who deserve special recognition for their services over the course of the year. And that's Monday, 7 p.m. So that's it. Have a good night.
Well, thank you, Chief.
Thank you.
Thank you, Chief. Appreciate that. And Frank DeMarco, Department of Public Works.
It was great to have a nice day today with all that rain we've been having for the past couple of weeks. But it introduces me to what I'm about to say next. Every year, municipalities like us have to file what they call an MS4. It's a municipal stormwater application to the state. And what that is basically like the rainwater we've had for the past week or so. That rainwater leads into our waterways somehow. But if residents will look out there on the streets, they will see these catch basins that are up against the curb or at the end of a block that actually catch our water and take it to our waterway. And what this application does is the state wants to make sure that we do everything we can to protect that water that's going into our waterways, to make sure that no one's dumping oils, contaminants, pesticides, and all these other things that could actually harm our waterways. But now, you know, we have construction sites too, so any construction sites that are over an acre of land, we must now make sure that they're doing everything they can to protect the stormwater going into our waterways. We have inspections annually. There are 7 what they call outfalls, and what these outfalls do is they collect the water in different segments of the village, and they're actually water mains that lead to our waterways. So there's 7 outfalls or 7 waterways, and they need to be inspected by me every 6 months. So I would go out there and just make sure that the water isn't foaming, there's no vapors coming out of the water or any type of contamination or maybe oils settling in around the area. So that's my job, to make sure that there's really no type of contaminants that are being dumped into our waterways. We have 370 catch basins within the village. And what we do also is annually, these catch basins, their prominent function is to collect floatables, contaminants. They don't just take the water to the waterways, they have a sump beneath each catch basin. And what that sump does, it collects particulate matter, oils that might settle in there, and floatables, bottles and cans. So our job is to try to clean as many as these catch basins out annually. And this MS4 wants to know that we're also doing that. And we do. We clean approximately 150 catch basins annually. Each catch basin also has an insignia, some type of a logo on it, specifying, please don't dump in this catch basin because it leads to our waterways. But it also has an identification number on it. Most importantly, over the years, we've GPS, GIS'd each catch basin. So if there's ever an oil spill near a catch basin, all someone has to do is give us that catch basin number, and we could catch that water or that illicit discharge before it reaches our waterway. We have inflatable balloons that we would take down to the outfall that would collect the contaminants, and we could block everything before it reaches our waterway. So these things are important, and these are some of the things that we've implemented over the years. There's also education and public outreach. The MS4, anyone could view the MS4 on our website, the library, village clerk's office, and DPW. We also have questionnaires that are very important that if people want to answer our questionnaires, it's important for us. And we also attach it to our MS4 annually. If they want to see the survey, you could go onto the Tuckahoe website under DPW, under stormwater management. And we also have videos there that show you what can and can't go into our waterways. Other than that, we have videos. And we also have a stormwater management plan or program that anybody could view. It's on our website. But what this application really wants to do is that we're doing everything we can to make sure that that water is safe for everybody, for the public, and for wherever this water flows downstream. And if anybody has any questions, please feel free to call me.
I do have one question. I think I know the answer, but I'm have you give the right answer. When a site is being developed and there's a lot of construction activity, there's something, I think you call it a silt something that goes inside the storm. Can you tell the public what that is? So, because I think a lot of public thinks that, all right, there's a lot of stormwater runoff from a construction site, and maybe there's just a lot of dirt, or there's something that's on that site that's actually washing out into the street, running down along the curb line, and it goes into a storm drain. But what they don't see down inside there is some kind of a filter. It's really like a coffee filter, I guess.
Well, there's two processes to this. You know, first they need to retain their stormwater on the site. So any stormwater runoff will run into a filtrated area, which is just a bed of stone. And that stone, once that area fills, there's a pipe in the middle that leads to our storm system. That pipe is a perforated pipe that has holes in it. And there's also fabric that is wrapped around this pipe that would also filter any contaminants from going into our waterway. So that's one method of catching the water that's run off on construction sites. So we want them to purify. We want to make sure that before it goes into our waterways, it's cleaned. And you also have a filter fabric that is wrapped around the sites. And what that does is prevents any runoff and keeps everything retained within that project site. And that's basically what that does.
So I guess like the big project at Main or Midland and Marbledale Road, they probably have numerous of those, I guess, throughout the site.
Correct.
Okay.
And we do have them inspected weekly.
Oh, we do.
Yeah, Dolph
Okay.
Engineering has inspections weekly on
Oh,
that.
I didn't realize that. Okay, that's good to know. Everything else going well, Frank?
Everything is great. Everything is great. No snow. This is a great season for me. Thank you, gentlemen.
And thank you for supporting the community fund today and playing golf and
It's
going
great
to
to
the
see
rally.
everybody there also.
Yes, good.
Thank
event.
you.
Camille, anything from your office?
Let everyone know that the final tax roll will be available on June 1st.
June 1, okay. Gary, anything? No? Okay. Mr. Burke?
Just real quick, that the Tuckahoe Trolley has started. It started last Friday, so it's out there on Friday and Saturdays now. And the Westchester County Mobile Office, Passport Office, or Clerk's Office, I think, but they kind of specialize in passports, is coming to Depot Square on Monday, June 20th from 11 to 2. And if you haven't taken up that service, it's really quick, fast, and efficient. If you need your passport, it's the easiest way to go about doing it.
I did it one year myself. It was great. Thank you. Let's see, miscellaneous business. As the chief mentioned, we have Police Memorial Remembrance Ceremony is going to be at 9 a.m. on May 14th. Our village offices will be closed on May 30th, which of course is Memorial Day. And our next village board meeting is going to be on June 6th. So that is going to bring us to our Board of Trustees member reports. And as we do every month, we're going to start with my good friend, the man who will take the bullet for me, I guess, as deputy mayor, Tom Giordano.
Yes, to prevent myself from being mayor, I certainly would. Thank you, Mayor Steve. So a lot of things going on, the planning and zoning boards this month. Usually I read out the actual, all of the items on the agenda. This month, I'm going to skip that, and I'm going to say, to direct you to our new and improved website, where it's very easy to find out what's going on near you at www.tuckahoe.com. It's user-friendly, and you can find out everything that may affect what's going on in your neighborhood. The next planning board meeting is on May 17th at 7:30 p.m., and the next zoning board meeting is May 11th at 7:30 p.m. I also wanted to put in a plug for the community fund. Today, as Mayor Eklund mentioned, was their annual golf outing, and it was a beautiful day and a beautiful event. But more than that, it's an organization that really benefits our community, that quietly raises money and spends a lot of rigor making sure that those funds are spent to better our health, education, and service needs throughout the community. So I would encourage anyone in our area who is looking for a place to donate, to give, to make our community better, to think about the community fund. You can look up and see more specifically where their grants go towards and their funds go towards under thecommunityfund.org. That's all I have.
Well, thank you, and rightfully so. That money goes back to our community, so you just can't have a better program than that. I want to thank the Community Fund so much. And I also just want to dovetail on what you said. Our village website, I find myself using the website now. Every day, it's my screen, you know, my screensaver or my homepage, I guess I should say. And it is really, I mean, for people who have not used the website for the Village of Tuckahoe, it has everything in there. Once you really start to become familiar with it and you're navigating your way around it, it's fantastic. So kudos to you, David Burke. Great job. I use it every day now. So, Trustee Luisi.
Thank you, Mayor. I'd like to start with the Tuckahoe History Committee. As I mentioned last month, our Tuckahoe History Committee has partnered with other historians here in Lower Westchester, and they are going to continue to plan events in 2017. Specifically, they are going to commemorate the anniversary of the entrance of the United States into World War I. The historians are now preparing exhibits and programs to commemorate this event, and as I get more information, I, of course, will pass it on to the public. As always, the History Committee meets here on the second floor of Village Hall every Wednesday from 9 a.m. until noon. And the History Committee welcomes any information or photos that they can add to the archives. Please bring them in. They will just make copies of them and then, of course, return the originals to you. They still have a few coverlets available for sale. And as always, they make wonderful birthday, anniversary gifts, and graduation gifts are coming up in June. So the Tuckahoe seniors will be taking a tour of the Pennsylvania Amish country on Tuesday, May 17th. It's an all-day affair, and they will be taking guided tours of the Quilt and Craft Farm, an Amish bakery, the Kitchen Kettle Village, as well as a family-style lunch at Good and Plenty. Then, to commemorate Memorial Day, which they will do on Thursday, May 26th, They will have their infamous Memorial Day picnic where Jenny serves the world's best tube steaks, otherwise known as hot dogs. And this month, the seniors are conducting a food drive to benefit ECAP. And as my colleagues have said earlier, there are many wonderful programs here that the seniors enjoy that are funded by the community fund. And lastly, just a public announcement, the Tuckahoe Union Free District School, the Tuckahoe Union Free School District budget will be coming up for a vote on Tuesday, May 17th, and I encourage all residents to participate in the vote process. It is over a $31 million budget, and you can vote at the Tuckahoe Community Center from 6 a.m. until 9 p.m. And again, that's on Tuesday, May 17th. And that's it for me, Mayor.
Well, thank you.
You're welcome.
Big budget, too, so get out and vote. Trustee Leo.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. The Friends of the Tuckahoe Library present the new Westchester Symphony Orchestra. This will take place on Saturday, June 4th at 2 p.m. It's a free admission. This is the library's largest fundraiser for 2014, so it's a great event, and I hope everyone can attend. It's puzzle time, and it's puzzles. Let's do it together, and this takes place on Friday, May 13th at 4 p.m., and it's open to children from ages 3 to 6 years old, and registration is required. Harry Truman program series continues, and there's 2 topics, Young Bests in Hats, and this is Young Bess Truman was quite a different person than the woman we knew as our nation's First Lady, and then the immigration legacy of Harry S. Truman, and this will take place on Thursday, May 19th at 2:30 p.m. Please call the library to register. And finally, at the Legos in the Library, which will take place on Friday, May 20th at 4 p.m. And it's open to ages 4 to 10, and no registration is required. And that's pretty much it, Mayor.
All right, thank you. Trustee Alfasi.
Well, Mr. Mayor, thank you, and I just wanted to reiterate, thank Mr. Laurie for discussing what's coming up, which is our Memorial Day Parade. Equally, the ceremony that happens at Eastchester Monument at 8:30 a.m., May 30th. If you haven't attended that, I really encourage you to get out there and attend it. It's usually well attended. There's quite a bit of, I won't say it takes a long time, but there's a few speeches that if you listen carefully, I guarantee they'll bring a tear to your eye. Memorial Day is something that we celebrate, and it's a solemn occasion. It's an occasion to reflect the ultimate sacrifice that our men and women have given in service of their country. So, with that said, May 30th, and then afterwards we'll have the parade starting at the Eastchester Library, coming all the way down to Depot Square. That will start at between 9:30 and 10 a.m. Thank you.
All right, thank you very much. I'll be brief. I just have some very sad news to report. One of our residents, Tuckahoe resident Paul Brand, passed away last week. Back in 2007, Paul was the first patient in Hudson Valley to undergo at the same time both a heart and a kidney transplant, which was quite remarkable. And anybody who knows Paul knows that he was a largest life, very remarkable guy. He served on our Tuckahoe Housing Authority. He served on the Tuckahoe Assessment Review Board, and he was very, very active in the Tuckahoe Library with his wife, Mickey. So Paul was the first guy who would call you up if you needed somebody to serve on a board, if you had a vacancy, you needed any assistance at all. He was always the first guy who would either be down here or he'd call me at home and say, you need help with that issue. So I'm certainly going to miss him. I know we're all going to miss him. So we extend our condolences to Mickey and his children, and Godspeed, Paul. So that's going to bring us to the second opportunity to address the board on anything at all. And if we have nothing else then tonight, I'm just going to ask if we could pause for a moment of silence in memory of Paul Brand. Thank you. So I'll ask for a motion to adjourn this meeting.
So moved.
Do I have a second?
Second.
Till next time, Tuckahoe, have a very good evening.